Wow, what an exciting, historic day for probably the majority of you that don't know me. My name is Brian Clattisby. I am the chairman of the Swinomish tribe up in Skagit County, and I am also the former 21st president of the National Congress of American Indians, which advocates for 573 nations. You know, let's give A&R Solar a big round of applause for allowing us to come into their workspace here. Jay and Trudy have worked with them on these important issues to our country going forward, and he will continue to work with industries like this. I just read a report that this administration has eliminated 20,000 jobs in the solar industry in the United States. Boo! But Governor Inslee is going to bring all that back. I've had an opportunity to know and work with this man for the last 20 years. And if you look in the dictionary by his name, you'll see honesty, something that is desperately needed in D.C., integrity, passionate, and he cares deeply about the citizens of not only Washington, but the citizens of the United States of America. Washington is home to 29 tribal governments, and Governor Inslee has become a very trusted, dedicated friend to our Indian communities and our governments throughout his time in public service. We have built a relationship of understanding. Now, like in all relationships, and I'm proud my wife is here. She's been walking by my side for 44 years. Nina's here with me today, and just like in any relationships, there's going to be bumps in the road. And that has been the case sometimes with this governor and Indian tribes in the state of Washington, but I can guarantee you this. We do not define our relationship on that one hiccup, just like in your relationship with your spouse or your children or your friends. You don't define your relationship on that one issue. We know we have 9 other issues that we agree on that we need to be at the table communicating, working on. So just like in any relationship, we're proud to have a relationship with Governor Jay Inslee. Now, one of the values that we all share here is protecting Mother Earth. And we believe, and we've taught the governor this concept of 7th generation. My grandchildren are the 7th generation from the signing of the Point Elliott Treaty in 1855. 7th generation is so important to us, and Governor Inslee knows about that, on how we need to think about that 7th generation. Right now, we live under a pollution-based economy where corporate America is running the United States, and they only care about their return on their investment. They only think about one generation in 20 years. Mother Earth can't take much more. It requires leadership, bold leadership, to take on corporate America. 40% of the world's population today is dying because of soil, water, and air pollution. There is a group of politicians in Washington, D.C. whose heads are stuck in the ground that think that pollution has no impact on our environment, and it is a sad day. When I travel to Hawaii, when I travel to Alaska, when I travel to Florida, to California, and I witness the indigenous communities and the impacts they are suffering because they're a place-based society. They cannot just pick up their communities like a corporation can and go to another country and start polluting that part of the world. I've seen homes in Alaska falling into the Arctic Sea for the first time in a generation. I've seen the Pacific Islanders standing in their cemetery twice a day at high tide, water up to their waist because the water has inundated their cemeteries. I've seen the impacts in Louisiana. I've seen the impacts in Florida. And I'm proud to stand here to say, I support Governor Jay Inslee, who is going to take this issue on full bore, and we are going to stand beside him and with him, because Jay is a great friend, a terrific governor, and we could use some of these Washington State values in Washington, D.C. God bless you. Thank you. Let's go get this.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Marilyn Strickland. I'm the former mayor of Tacoma, Washington State's City of Destiny. And I now serve as president and CEO of the Seattle Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce. I feel incredibly lucky to work in a state where job creation is happening every single day. Good jobs that pay well. Jobs that are blue collar, white collar, and yes, green collar. During the time that Governor Inslee has been in office, Washington State has led the nation in job growth, in wage growth, in GDP. We have led the way by supporting local small businesses and local homegrown companies. We have prioritized our workers. We are protecting the environment, and we are building our energy-efficient future today, right here in Washington State. We are creating whole new sectors by stimulating clean energy jobs and investing in the research and development that will fuel the next clean energy innovations. We are leaders in life sciences. We are creating life-saving medicines, and we've produced life-saving, world-changing philanthropies. We are inventing the technology and manufacturing advances that will transform our communities and our economy. And we're taking on very, very tough challenges, like income inequality and housing security, because everyone deserves a safe place to call home. The private sector is also doing its part, but we depend on leaders like Governor Inslee to set an agenda that understands one thing: the world is changing and we must adapt, and we must refuse to accept status quo. Under Governor Inslee's leadership, Washington State businesses are thriving. Washington workers are better off than ever before, and Washington State now leads the nation in building the clean energy economy of the future. So I stand here today as Marilyn Strickland, born in Seoul, Korea, the daughter of an immigrant, the daughter of a soldier who made a life here in Tacoma, Washington. Please join me in supporting our Governor, Jay Inslee, as he works to spread the prosperity we have here in Washington State to every single community in the United States of America. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Teresa Mosqueda, and I'm an at-large council member in the city of Seattle in the great state of Washington. Are you ready? Yeah. I'm ready. I am ready for a president of this country who is on the right side of history. I am ready for a leader who is unapologetically going to combat climate change, who will stand up for healthcare access, and who will fight for workers' rights. I'm a proud member of the Washington State labor movement. Give it up for the labor members who are here with us today. And during my time at the Washington State Labor Council, AFL-CIO, workers across this state, all of you led the effort to pass the highest minimum wage in the nation, and Jay Inslee stood with us. Governor Governor Jay Inslee stood shoulder to shoulder with workers who demanded a higher minimum wage. He stood with us to pass paid sick leave, paid safe leave, and paid family leave because he knows what's good for workers is good for businesses. And Governor Inslee stood up for working families by being one of the first to swiftly condemn the attacks on immigrants and refugees and helped Washington State rise to the occasion. We stood up to this challenge, this illegal, immoral challenge, and we made sure that our state is now second in the nation for welcoming refugee resettlements. That is leadership. And Governor Inslee has fought for working families by making sure that our state was one of the first to pass Medicaid expansion, create the state exchange, and defend health coverage for all children, regardless of citizenship status. And under his leadership in Washington State, we saw our uninsurance rates drop faster than the national rate. But we know that far too many are being left out and left behind. And the question is not whether we can afford to create high-quality health care for all. The reality is we can't afford not to. Yes. And it's through this health justice lens that Governor Inslee has made defeating climate change his top priority. Governor Inslee understands the health risks of pollution from fossil fuels disproportionately affect low-wage workers, people of color, and our country's most vulnerable. High cancer rates, childhood illness, life shortened. These are the consequences of a system that has socialized its burdens and individualized its benefits. Governor Inslee knows that at its core, climate change is about fairness. Those who suffer the most from the impacts of inaction are those with the least. So the country is ready for action. Are you ready for action? Across this country, communities are crying out for action. From the call for a Green New Deal to calling on the Green Governor of Washington State to run for president. Our country is ready. He's championed legislation to protect fence-line communities and frontline workers by ensuring a just transition to green energy union jobs. And we're ready for a president who will fight against climate change like our lives depend on it, because they quite literally do. We are ready for a president who knows that our zip codes and our race should not determine our life expectancy or our health outcomes. So we are ready. With Governor Jay Inslee, we're ready to hold polluters accountable so our planet stops choking on emissions. We're ready to build a green energy economy with good union jobs, healthcare, and create greater shared prosperity for all. And we're ready for our progressive Pacific Northwest values to be shared with the rest of the country. Because our climate and our healthcare and our communities cannot wait. So let me hear you. Are you ready? Washington State Governor Jay Inslee.
Good morning. It really is a good morning. We have the sun raining down on us at a solar facility in Seattle, Washington. So it is pretty hard not to be optimistic on a day like this. And it is great to be here with our beloved Trudy, my wife of 46 years, and my 3 sons and daughter-in-laws. And I see so many friends here today, including Jim Whitaker, right here, the first American to climb Mount Everest. Jim. Thanks, buddy. We'll get you. Jim knows that we can do big, challenging things, and I want to thank you, Jim, for now being involved in a great climb for the next couple of years. But I have to tell you that my grandkids can't be here today, and they told me it's because today is Dr. Seuss Day at Wilkes Elementary. We Inslees know how to prioritize. And now it is time for our nation to set a new priority. So I am announcing today that I'm a candidate to become the next president of the United States. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. I do so because this is truly our moment. It is our moment to solve America's most daunting challenge and make it the first, foremost, and paramount duty of the United States, and that is to defeat climate change. This is our moment to put the greatest threat to our existence, to our economy, to our health, at the very top of the nation's agenda. This is our moment to reinvent our economy, creating millions of jobs in every state, in every community, urban and rural, across America. This is our moment together to create not just a transition, but a just transition, to bring justice to all communities, especially frontline communities, communities of color, who have borne the brunt of climate change. I am running for president because, unlike the man in the White House, I believe in all the people who make up America. Because I believe in our spirit of innovation and optimism. And because I believe our ability to rise to any challenge. This we know. We are the first generation to feel the sting of climate change, and we are the last generation that can do something about it. The science on this is abundantly clear. We have a very short period of time to act. And whether we shrink from this challenge or rise to it is the vital question of our time. And we know it is the 11th hour. But as we have shown time and time again throughout our nation's history, this is our nation's hour to shine. And I believe we will, because of the urgency of the moment, the scope of the challenge, because the economic growth opportunities inherent in clean energy are clear, and because no other issue touches so much of what we as a nation care most deeply about. And I am confident that we can do it. Climate change is no longer just a chart or a graph. It is right now, not in some distant future. I stood in the middle of Paradise, California a few months ago, a town of about 25,000 people. And we drove for over an hour in the dark. And you could hardly find a house standing after those devastating fires. Because of the massive fires here last summer, our kids were told they had to stay indoors because the air was so unhealthy. Think about this, the air quality in Washington State was the worst in the world last year. Not Beijing, not New Delhi, but here in Washington State. We have one chance to defeat climate change, and it is right now. And it is my belief that when you have one chance in life, you take it. And I know Now, I know this as well. Climate change is a matter of great peril, but it is also one of great promise. Yes, we can pioneer the industries of the future. We can create millions of good-paying jobs and build the clean energy economy of the future. I know this is possible. I co-authored a book 12 years ago. It was called Apollo's Fire: Igniting America's Clean Energy Economy. And in that book, we laid out a vision of economic growth around clean energy. It was based on the central premise that we can all have a role to play in this revolution. We can all be heroes in this adventure. And we are already getting started. Think about this. Jobs in the clean energy economy are growing twice as fast as the rest of the economy. The fastest growing job in the nation is a solar installer. Number two, wind turbine technician. So climate change is not more important than the economy. It is the economy. Look, this is pretty simple. Climate change is already damaging our economy, and fighting climate change will build a new economy. The most expensive path is the path of inaction, and that is unacceptable to us in America. In Washington State, I remember walking into a room in Seattle in 2006, and we were a group of community and business, forward-looking business leaders, and we were debating whether we should put a renewable portfolio energy standard on the ballot. And we knew that battle was going to be tough against the most powerful special interests. But we moved forward. We were undaunted. And out of that initiative, we created an entirely new wind energy industry from scratch. From $0 to $6 billion in industry in 12 years. That's the speed we need. We now have a solar installation industry there right here in A&R Solar. This company started as a 2-employee shop that was just a dream in 2007. They're now employing over 70 workers installing clean energy. This is the future of America, and it's right here. So, we know it is time for a new national vision to reinvent our economy, and I know we can do it because we are an optimistic America that can do big things. We put a man on the moon. We created the digital economy. Now, I am calling on America to engage in a new national mission, a mission to fight climate change. And let's commit to put every American in their ingenuity, in their innovation, in their creativity, and just their plain hard work into an all-out effort to solve this problem. And I believe Americans are calling for this. I've heard them. Folks are mobilizing across the country for a Green New Deal. This is our moment. And our new national mission will have 4 specific goals. Number 1, we will power our economy with 100% clean, renewable, and carbon-free energy and achieve net zero greenhouse gas pollution in the United States. Number two, we are going to create millions of good-paying jobs in every community investing in clean energy. We are going to build electric cars in Michigan. We are going to build and install wind turbines in Iowa. And we are going to install solar right here in Washington State. That's what we're going to do. And while we do this, we will focus on justice and inclusion as a centerpiece of this economic transformation to ensure that no group is left to bear the cost of transition and everyone benefits from new jobs and investment. And finally, we need to end the giveaways and billions in subsidies to fossil fuel industries. Now, these are ambitious goals, and some may doubt our ability to build this new future, or say that our workers aren't up to this challenge. Well, they are wrong. Don't believe them. We know something about our laborers, our electrical workers, our machinists, our scientists, our inventors, our dreamers, our entrepreneurs. We have led the world through the Industrial Revolution. We have led the world through the information age, and we can do it again, starting in 2020. This is what we can do. Now, we must do this because there is no other issue that touches so much of what we care about. We know climate change is as much a matter of equity as it is a matter of ecology. It is the communities of color that suffer from climate change first and worst. They live closer to pollution-spewing industrial plants. They suffer the lack of commitment to reimburse and rebuild after natural disasters that increase because of climate change, like Puerto Rico. So let's come together and build a future with clean air, clean water, and economic opportunity for all, regardless of zip code, income, or the color of your skin. Climate change is about health. Temperature extremes will make infectious diseases and allergies more widespread and respiratory problems like asthma with kids more rampant. Climate change is about national security. Wars for oil have cost us thousands of lives and billions of dollars. I'm proud to have voted against the war in Iraq, and wars for oil must be over. So let's apply those energies towards building a domestic energy supply that is clean, renewable, and American-made. We must take on climate change to help level the playing field as well. Our economy's reliance on polluting fossil fuels and our political system's reliance on fossil fuel money is holding us back. So I have a message for the oil, coal, and gas special interest. That gravy train is over. So as a candidate, I will not take one dime from fossil fuel companies or executives. And when I am president, not one nickel of taxpayer dollars will go to subsidize oil and gas. Now, if the task we face now feels monumental, it is. If it feels difficult, it will be. the most powerful special interests in the world won't just give away their power or their profits. But we know we can do hard things. I know we can do this because of what we have done in Washington State. Here in Washington, we've invested in companies that are building our renewable future. We are electrifying our transportation system. We're growing clean energy jobs by the bushelful. And economic innovation and leadership for the future, we know, starts in our schools. That's why I've led our state to invest billions in our schools, expanded early childhood education, made college more affordable, and finally have given educators the deserved raise they deserve. And they've got it. In Washington State, we've passed the best paid family medical leave law in the United States. Now, let's secure this same right for every family in this country. We've raised the minimum wage. We've invested in transportation infrastructure when they can't build a birdhouse in Washington, D.C. We were the first state to protect net neutrality when Donald Trump tried to shut it down. We've legalized marijuana. And it's about time we do it nationwide. We've taken on the NRA. We've expanded background checks. We've protected victims of abuse. We've banned bump stocks, and we're not done. Let's ban assault weapons and take weapons of war off our streets. We believe fundamentally in justice and inclusion in our state. It is a Washington, and I believe, American value. So I'm proud to have been the first governor to have stood up to Donald Trump's Muslim ban, I am pleased that we are ending the death penalty in the state of Washington. And it is why I have offered to pardon thousands of citizens with marijuana convictions so we can start ending the racial disparity in our criminal justice system. Now, because Republican voter suppression and denying folks the right to vote is a downright evil, we have strengthened our voting laws to some of the most expansive in the nation. And we need new federal protections that guarantees every American has the right to vote. We need the federal government to stand up. So if you look at our state and you ask, why we've done so well, we have succeeded here in Washington because we've grown our economy from the middle out, not suffered from trickle down. That's why Washington State has been named at the same time the best place to do business and the best place to work. And we ought to be proud of that. We've made these progressive advances and many more while building the top economy in the nation. And this has offered a glimpse for the nation of what is possible in all 50 states. So if America wants to see a Washington that actually works, look west to Washington State. Now, I know we are all angry and outraged by this president. I am too. But rather than let that anger divide us, as the president is wont to do, let's unite Americans in this moment by solving our most pressing, urgent, and existential problem. And we are going to win this because I know something about the American people and their character. We are optimists. We are can-do people. We invent, we create, we build. Defeating climate change is just as much a matter of character as it is a matter of science. Americans. Here's what we know. Americans do not fear the world, we lead it. We do not fear a challenge, we embrace it. And we do not fear the future, we build it. So we know that fighting climate change can't be somewhere long down the page on a laundry list of our national things to do. It requires building a national mandate for bold and audacious action right now. It requires spending our political capital to get this job done. So I will put this simply. If climate change isn't priority number one, it's not going to get done. So I am saying this. I am pledging today that if I am given this high honor, I will make fighting climate change the number one priority of the United States of America. That's more. You know, and there's something about this new national mission statement that is heartening to me and encouraging to me and inspiring to me. And that is we can all be heroes here. You don't have to be President of the United States to be a hero in this effort. You just have to join. Because we can all be heroes joining in a grand mission. We are now involved in one of history's greatest endeavors to save those living on this little blue planet from the dangers and massive threat of climate change. So early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and organize. This is our moment. This is our mission. Let's get this job done. Let's go get them. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys. Good to see you. I like seeing you. Judy, come on up here. This is a shot. It's a family shot. You get funny and happy. I need a handshake. Hey, guys, come on up here. Yeah, you guys, get up here. Come on up here.
Hi, Sandy. Hi there, Sandy.
There's a nice lady.
Okay, Carl,
Get up, guys.
You got Todd. Okay.
Oh, how you doing? Okay. Let's go get this job done. Come on. Let's go get it.